Hey, how's it going? Now I know you're probably thinking like, oh my god, we back to the weekly, oh my lord. Because that last episode said we were supposed to be, but blah 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 blah. Yeah, we back at it again. We back at it again. This time though, we're doing episode 15. Conversion. And I wish I could really do this whole episode justice. But let me break it down to you in the basic format of what it is. Conversion, in and of itself, is a Dungeons and Dragons campaign session. I wish I were kidding. Like, put Richard as a fighter, put Kaylin as a sorcerer or a warlock, put the hunter guy from the last episode as a ranger, and then you just have Dark and Rawl as the current session's BBEG, like the main baddie of the session. I mean, for the whole campaign, he won't be the only BBEG if you've ever played the tabletop game, but just follow me on this analogy. So it's a party of 3 people doing a rescue mission that they've been assigned to. In doing so, they achieve the mission, but hold up! There is a twist that the DM did, where the ranger's family is cursed by a malleable source of a contamination that's from the sorcerer or warlock homebrew subclass that's going on with Kaylin. God, I can't believe I'm doing a Dungeons and Dragons analogy right now. Fucking hell. And in this whole entire spree, the party has to intercept a lot of different avenues in order to get an in for what's happening. However, there are the other players in the campaign where it's a rogue and whatever class the other person is, using a disguise to get through the enemy lines. But things are intertwined at the wrong angle where some things didn't cross very well in communication. And in doing so, the party that would have been 5 is now 4, where it's the rogue, the fighter, the ranger, and the sorcerer or warlock. Or it would be if the ranger wasn't incapacitated by the lovers, of which they had a small problem of going into shock. So the rogue, the fighter, and the sorcerer or warlock have to infiltrate the dungeon itself to face off against a corrupt magic user that's trying to wield the powers of a sorcerer or warlock. They create a potion of resistance, or using Dunamancy if you're using the Exandrian setting, to resist the powers of Kaylin, where Kaylin is then taken captive, having that whole bondage thing going on with some wood planks, because it's a very kinky D&D session right now. And in doing so, we end up where in the foreground of it all, the fighter has to prevent an explosion from going off because apparently the rogue multi-class to also be an artificer, whatever you want to pronounce it as. So, the rogue / artificer gets killed by the current campaign's BBEG, to which the fighter wants to do battle with, and then forthwith damage said person with utter, unrelenting force and strikes. Will it succeed? Will it not? Who's to really say? Because the DM rolled a lot of good numbers with minor illusion, well, not minor illusions, but major illusions, and some other chicanery that also came into play that they didn't come alone. They also came with backup of their own to try and dissuade the whole entire party, as it were. And in doing so, capture the fighter, and they have it to where the lovers in the campaign are once again being tortured by the boss, to where the sorcerer / warlock unlock a feature of themselves to initiate an almost annihilation of everyone in the room. The fighter gives chase to the BBEG, who uses Dimension Door or Arcane Gate to get the hell out of Dodge, Or using the teleportation circle, honestly, that's a lot more accurate. But not without leaving a scar on the BBEG. And they're granted a reward to where instead of using it on themselves, because their alignment is lawful good, or chaotic good, I should say, they give it to the ranger who leaves the party to be with their family, as they are then alerted that the wizard of their party may or may not be in danger. And so they must travel forth to save the wizard. Okay, that is a weird way to do an entire episode of Legend of the Seeker Weekly, or Weird Wizardry Wednesday. I should probably say that instead. But here we are with a very, very... I don't know how else to describe this episode, but it just felt like, unlike every other episode that probably could stand on the testament of it being Game of Thrones without being Game of Thrones, or Lord of the Rings without being Lord of the Rings, this just actually felt like a good thing and a fun thing, but also felt like it was Dungeons and Dragons to the utmost degree. I don't know why. Maybe because I'm getting into D&D again, and I'm a DM at least, I'd say, twice a week now. So, I don't know. Maybe my brain's just kind of focused on campaigns while I'm doing this episode. I don't know. But I'll see you guys next week for episode 16, Bloodline. Yes, Bloodline. It's gonna be a very goopy episode. Have a good one, guys, and stay magical, keep armed, and watch out for Dark and Raw. I heard he's crazy.